what Pentas do is we are facilitating all these creators on Pentas platform, and not just that, we are also building the ecosystem. Not just if you are a retailer and you wanted to sell something, I'm talking about the involvement of the logistic wise, delivering, ensuring that end-to-end customers. So we are facilitating that. So basically, we are bridging the gap of digitalization and migration to the blockchain base as well as NFT. What people normally do is that when you have no knowledge or you have a very limited knowledge, you have no trust. So what we are doing is advocacy. What we are doing is that we are bridging that gap. Now we are facilitating people to understand. We are advocate people to know what blockchain is all about. When we do that, we are doing both things. We are facilitating of the migration from technology, the old, I wouldn't say old technology, but to a better technology. Because before we have a physical stuff, and then we migrate to a digitalization, they call it, and then now from digitalization you're moving into blockchain based. Catalyst, empowering, and artisan. So why we are catalyst? Because technically we are the market mover, not just in Malaysia, regional wise, we are the market mover. That's one. And then why we are artisan is because it's still technically a huge plain canvas that we allow and we facilitate not just the creators but also those who are developers, because of what we did, we have a few other people who solve last mile solution, for example like a company called Summerwatch, a company called Imbas.io, that they facilitate this. Another one is empowering. A lot of people do not know that Pentas was born during a pandemic era. So at that point of time, a lot of people are not able to go out and do things, those who, especially the craftsmen, the one that are really outdoor artists and stuff like that. So what we do, we empower them in terms of utilizing the Pentas, the stage that we built on the NFT Marketplace. So that is where people make a living out of it. So I believe that is one of the key how and what we have achieved, that we empower people from that scope. But of course today, as the market has opened up and stuff like that, people have more liberty. Pentas was co-founded by 5 gentlemen. Each of us have our own skill set. So how do we meet up? Again, Pentas was born during pandemic. So what happened was, I'm pretty sure that some of you still remember these apps called Clubhouse. That is where we have met. Like really, seriously, all of us met at Clubhouse. What we do is like, during pandemics, you have nothing to do apart from just chit-chatting. We speak hours and hours. So at that point of time, we always talk about crypto. And then what I do normally, I read up about a certain crypto portfolio. They call it white paper. So we dissect the white paper together. So moving forward collectively, we find it very comfortable to be with around each other, talking about ideas, about developing things, So that is where the Pentas idea was born, because during at that time, NFT thingy was just blowing up. And then we feel obligated to address this, So we thought that simple. If not now, then when? If not us, then who? So fast forward, today here we are, crossing more than 1 year. So we have achieved more than 50,000 wallet. And then out of that, almost 18 million page view. More than 20% of our visitors are from North America, which is US. And then of course we have Malaysia being the first one, and then we have Indonesia, we have Singaporean, Australian, New Zealand, Ireland, and so on. So this is also to nullify again the fact that yes, we are Malaysian born, but not just serving Malaysian market. Or the most famous risk when it comes to blockchain related and NFT, you cannot run from cryptocurrency. So when you talk about cryptocurrency, it's very volatile in such a way that today it can increase 20% and the next day it can go down probably negative 30%. That's why it's very important for you guys to do your reading. Do not jump in or FOMO, fear of missing out. hype in just because you have another person told you to and stuff like that. So again, one of the reason when this happen, eventually it gives you a repercussion or a ripple effect towards NFT marketplace or the blockchain ecosystem. Of course, a lot of people who probably slow down in terms of building, in terms of pushing their products, in terms of pushing their NFT project, but then allow me to give you example. So assuming if you're a contractor or a developer that you wanted to build a building, you need a raw material. So your raw material usually will be steel, sand, maybe cement. So of course you have a standard price for all this. Probably hypothetically speaking, you can acquire 1 ton of steel at $1,000, for example, for today, and tomorrow it could be 1,500. But then in crypto, when the market is crashing, whatever that used to be at 1,000, now probably at 200 or maybe at 300. I believe this is the best time for people to build, because whatever that you're building, especially an NFT project, you're building at a way lower cost price. I think this is the part, that the angle that I think people should see. Yes, this fall under the risk, but the risk that if you can manage it, you can turn it into an opportunity. Our numero uno, our priority is advocacy, because user base. If you have a group of people that do not understand what we are doing, what are we trying to facilitate, what are we trying to propagate, there's no point. So advocacy is very important, and it's important is also for knowledge, a substantial knowledge of what blockchain is all about, what cryptocurrency is all about, what NFT is all about. Things will be different, and in order for us to get more adoption, to get people into this ecosystem, you need people to understand things, not just because of advocacy, because if you get people to understand, you already minimize the fact that people to get cheated. You minimize the risk of people to get fooled by scams. So this is the fundamental of what Pentas want to achieve. Our marketplace just barely 1 year. I think we turned one in a couple of weeks time. 21st August, that is our first marketplace anniversary. We have achieved, I think, quite a tremendous achievement, multiple milestone. We have soon we have another network that we're going to deploy on Pentas, and then we have more than 50,000 wallet connected on Pentas, and then as I mentioned earlier, we have almost 18 million page view. Everything, whatever that we've seen, is very much community driven. So I believe that is what we have achieved, and we can achieve a lot more. So few years down the road, you just multiply whatever that we achieve now. I believe that we can be a unicorn, not long from now, with the right strategy, with the right support. Of course, as you grow bigger, there are things that you have to do it with other people. At some point, you have to accept the fact that there are things that you need to do with a lot more bigger players, not just you. Again, this is a journey that you go together with, not a journey that you run on your own. Okay, how we see Pentas as a catalyst or player is that how we move the community. When I said move the community, I wasn't referring to only in Malaysia. We do not limit ourselves within our borders, because we are a regional player. Pentas is a leading marketplace in Southeast Asia. So how are we contributing this is that we create a refuge. So Pentas is like a refuge and also a very low entry barrier. So how we do things is that we make it easier for anybody who wanted to dabble into the industry, to make it easy for them to come in. We have a creator as young as 12 years old, as 10 years old, up to even a professional creators like a Starter B rank. We have a Starter B rank on our platform, So we are talking about lower down the entry barriers, so that a lot of people can participate, make it easier, simplify for them. And again, we are so fortunate that Pentasian, the community movement is so strong. They help a lot of other people. I'm not talking about within our borders. We have a handful of communities that are doing that. So I believe this is what we have compared to others. And if you go around and check it out, we're talking about marketplace alone, you will have a project maximalist. That means, for example, if this creator launch a project, then they will have a fan towards that project. In Pentas, we have that. We have Pentasin community that they are a fan, supporters, and without them, we wouldn't be where we are today without them. They are the strength, the pillar of Pentas. I wouldn't say this is a tough one because we still consider ourselves as beginners as well. So for us to offer, or for me personally to offer an advice, probably not my place, but allow me to just share what our principle is. First, never stop trying. That is number one, fundamental. And second, I live by the rule of probability. The more you put in effort, or the more you do it, the higher chances you will get it or achieve something. So hypothetically speaking, if you try to break a door, you can try once, you can try twice, probably you've given up. But then what if you try 7 times, 8 times, probably the 10 times? The chances for the door to crash down is higher. You know, it's all about creating a higher chances. It's not there's nothing promised. You know, there's nothing saying that if you do this, you confirm you'll get that. Nothing. But then I live by the probability, the principle of probability, whereby the higher chances that I created, the higher chances that I will get it.